All right. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome to Klear Channel. I see a lot of familiar faces on this morning. Good morning. For those of you that are new to the call today, I see some new people in some of the offices across the country. If you could go pull out your cell phone. I see some of you guys. I see you, Alejandro. I see you, buddy. Pull out your cell phone. Make sure your friends around you pull out their cell phones. I want you to go to YouTube. Yep, I see it. I see it. Go to YouTube, type in Klear Channel. I don't see everybody doing it there, Alejandro. So make sure your friends around you are doing it. Going to Klear, type in Klear channel, and you're gonna see my face. If you could go to that YouTube channel and please subscribe. Please subscribe. I see a few people down in Cleveland that are doing it themselves. So thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you subscribing. You know, I started this YouTube channel a couple months back, and you know, I realized in just in business and in life, my mission is to help change the world one leader at a time, and really help people achieve their goals. So happy Friday. Happy Friday. Thank you for subscribing. So I'll tell you guys a quick story. So yesterday I went to the chiropractor, and it was kind of funny. He says to me, so he's right around the corner here in Michigan, and I'm in the room waiting. I was on the phone. I got a phone call. I walk in, and this guy is like a bull in a china shop. Comes walking in. He's like, he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. Pretty big, pretty strong, fit guy. Like you can tell he's doing his thing. And he looks at me and he goes, there's something with you. And I'm like, what? What are you talking about? And he's super direct. He goes, there's something about you. I was going to say this to you last time. He's like, are you, he goes, your eyes, there's something deeper. And I was like, what? He goes, you have the gift. You have it. I can see it. I know people with the gift because I have the gift. And I was like, what are you talking about? He goes, are you in sales? Are you in leadership? Do you run businesses? Do you run real estate? And I was like, yeah, kind of. He goes, yeah, because you put a lot of good in the world. I can tell. You're going to get a lot of, there's whatever you're doing, whatever your business you're in, that's good, but there's a bigger purpose for you. The energy you put in the world, I can just tell. He's like, what do you do anyways? And I was like, I'm in sales. He's like, I knew it. And you just like, are you a sales guy yourself, or do you run a sales company or what? And I'm like, yeah, I actually coach and I develop some salespeople. If you go into retail stores, you'll see some of my guys sometimes. And he goes, I knew it. Come lay down, face down. And he just went to town on my back and my neck and whatever. And he's like, all right, roll over on your side. Quack, roll over the other side. Whack. He's like, is your Achilles still bothering you? Here, let me see this thing. And like messed with it and hurt it a little bit, but fixed it. And so it's interesting, right? So in the last couple of days, obviously, I've been talking to Michael a little bit. You guys know Michael. He's my promoting owner. He taught me business, hired me at 22 years old, and basically has helped me grow up in the business world. And he was talking a lot about the laws of the universe. And so I looked up a few more laws that I don't know if you guys are aware of. So I wanted to cover a few of them today that I thought, just resonated with me and in general. So I'm going to run through some of these laws and see if it'll help you guys today. So first law that I don't think I've talked about ever in the call, or maybe I have, but it's been a while. It's something called the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. And the law of cause and effect is whatever you send to the universe, you get back. Whatever you send to the universe, you get back. With every action, there's a reaction. So, it's funny. In the last few days, there's been a few times that I've been walking out of the gym or walking out of the school, dropping the kids off, and I turn around and see someone about 5-10 feet away. And it's like that point where do you stay and you wait for 10-30 seconds to hold the door for them, or do you let the door slam and let them do it themselves and you keep walking? And in the last couple of days, I've realized I've stayed a few times. And then last night I was out and met one of my buddies in the business that's grown up and he's grown fast, Gabriel, and I went over to a store that we were working. And this lady, little old lady, comes by as we're talking again. Like first 10 minutes I was in the store, and she goes, "Hey, excuse me, guys, can you help me grab something? I'm not tall enough to reach it." And she obviously looked at me compared to Gabriel because I'm a little bit taller. And and I said, "Yeah, for sure." And I walk around the corner with her, and there's this toy like behind, like up on the top shelf, back in the corner. I reached up and grabbed it, and she goes, "Hey, can I ask you something?" I was like, "I'm trying to get a birthday gift for my neighbor. She just invited me to it, and it's for someone who's 4 years old." And I'm like, "Actually, I have a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old." And I sat there and talked to her for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Said, "Hey, actually, this one is one we play a lot. This one we play a lot." And I just talked to her for a few seconds, and she says to me, "Oh, thank you so much. I had so much anxiety around getting this gift for this little kid because it's a good friend of mine. And I just want to do the right thing." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem. Hopefully it helps out. And hey, nice to meet you guys. You guys have a great day." And she just smiled when I smiled at her. And it's funny because I went back and I started talking to Gabriel, and we were talking about some of the things that he's learning and doing. And I said to him at one point, I was like, "Gabriel, do you feel the energy? Like, do you feel the vibes we're putting in the world?" And it's like 7:30 and we're in this store a little bit later than normal. And and he had some goals he wanted to hit. And I'm like, "Dude, just so you know, it's coming. It's coming. We'll be good." And I don't know how much longer after that conversation and how we're putting good energy into the world. Somebody walks by, we do our little simple pitch we do, and she had one of our competitors and was paying $200 or 180 for one line and a tablet. And for you guys that know what we're doing, that is obnoxious. And so I said, "Yeah, well, here, come here. I grab your ID. We gotta help you with that." She walks over. As we start talking to her, we talk literally nothing else about what she's getting, and we literally talked to her about an unfortunate scenario she's in a relationship, and we just kind of gave her some love, in my opinion. We said, "Hey, I'm sorry to hear that," and we talked to her about life. And then next thing you know, she's getting a new iPhone 12. We cut her bill almost in half, if not in half, I think, from the numbers I'm thinking about. And she's literally like thanking us and saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe you guys literally saved me this much money. I lost my job recently, and I'm not working, and I'm just so grateful that you guys stopped me because I just kind of walk by you guys all the time." And I'm like, "No worries, no problem at all." And so it's very interesting to me. So what my suggestion is with this one, and what it really reminded me of, is you got to give. You got to give good to the world. And when you just give because you're giving good to the world has a very interesting way of giving good back. And listen, my blind spot when I get really confident at what I'm doing, I in my younger years, I used to get really cocky, and I used to come across in a way to people that people didn't vibe with me. So the normal vibes I'd have with people, not just in sales, but in my business and in coaching people, what was negative. Although I was extremely confident and knew what I was doing, it came across in a way that people didn't want to be around me. And it definitely hurt my relationships when I got that way. So just remember, no matter where you are in the program, if you're extremely confident at it, just be aware of being too confident. If you're, maybe you lost some confidence and maybe you want to rebound, just remember where you're at there, and that energy you put out there and is what you're going to get back. So that's the law of the cause and effect. Number 2 is the law of gender. Law of gender. And the law of gender states that every seed, every thing that you're learning, trying to do, has a gestation period, has a incubation period. And so ultimately things will come into physical form when the time is right. Now, when I read that and I was preparing this, my next thing that I wrote down in my notes that came off my pen, that came through my activity of my energy in my mind into my hand, was, that fucking sucks. That's what I wrote down. That sucks. That it's just gonna happen when it's ready? What? So I gotta wait around? Well, no, you don't just have to wait around. So the key to know is that it will happen, and that it will happen when the time is right. Now, the what came to mind for me was instantaneous gratification. I remember again, and even nowadays, I start taking action on a certain subject. I start taking action on a certain thing I want to move, and that action doesn't always that result, that thing I'm trying to move, doesn't always move overnight. It's a series of actions, and it's a consistent action that has something move. It's something super important, and it's not something that's easy to do, and it's something I've been trying to work at. It's not going to move right away. And so the mistake that I realized, and when I'm coaching and when I'm doing things, is, even in business, I make certain decisions, and I see this when I coach people. People make decisions like, hey, I'm going to make this change with the process. I'm going to make a change with my recruiting. I'm going to make a change in training. I'm going to make a change in certain things. And they change for 2 weeks. And then they come back to me and they're like, I'm not getting the results I'm supposed to be getting. And I'm saying, like, and I look at them, I'm like, you've been doing this for 2 weeks. And frankly, you probably started less than 2 weeks ago. You just thought of it 2 weeks ago. You really started doing this about 10 days ago. You think it's going to change overnight? No, you got to give it time. You got to give it consistent action over time. And that's what's going to really make the change. Oftentimes it takes 4, 6, 8 weeks. It takes a period of time. It takes 21 days to create a habit, right? And so things aren't going to happen overnight. And so what people do, and I've realized, and when I coach people, is they make changes for 3 days. They make changes for a week. They make changes maybe for a week and a half and almost 2 weeks, and then they get frustrated and they stop. That's a bad idea. That wasn't going to work anyways. No, you didn't really give it time. You didn't give it enough time to actually come into form. And so my advice when you think of the law of the gender, although it could be frustrating and it's not helping you get what you want right away, you got to consistently move towards it. And things will happen when you become the person you need to become. It's not because you do it for a few days and, I had a great attitude. I had a strong mentality. I took care of my health. I put good energy in the world for a couple of days. I mean, yeah, you may make some progress, but you're not going to really make the consistent results that you want until it's who you become. But understand the law of gender will happen. It will come into physical form when the time is right. The third law I want to talk about is the law of correspondence. And this one is a very interesting one that I hadn't heard in a long time, and I hadn't really thought about in a while. But it makes a lot of sense. And the law of correspondence means that our lives are created, and who we are and what we do every day is created by the subconscious patterns we repeat on a daily basis. So I'm going to say that again because it's a little deep. So our lives and kind of who we are created by these subconscious patterns we repeat on a daily basis. And so when I think of these subconscious patterns, these patterns are either going to help you or they're going to hold you back. And in my career, when the subconscious patterns consistently have helped me and have served me, my career has taken off like a rocket ship. And I can tell you, when those subconscious patterns change and my paradigms have changed and how I look at things change, give an example in my business right now in the last 30 days, there's certain standards in my business that I become lax on, because I've been, focusing on other parts of the business and driving certain things. And I realized in the last 7 to 14 days, when I'm thinking about all the momentum we were making, growing the business, and I thought to myself, man, these standards I've become lax on. Performance metrics in certain areas of standards, certain things that I did as I was building this thing, and it was gaining a lot of momentum and fire. And so I realized by going out and getting my hands dirty in the basics of the stores, that the business hasn't changed, like it never really does. But what has changed is how we look at it and how I approach it. And so, so the subconscious patterns will help you, and the subconscious patterns will also get in the way a little bit. And I'll tell you, most of us, including myself, and I wouldn't say to certain levels or whatever degrees, most of us weren't born into the most super productive families in the world. Some of us were blessed with it, but some of us were not. And I know for me, and I say this not to pick on anyone that I love dearly, but my mom screamed a lot and raised her voice a lot in my house growing up. And I remember how I felt. And I'll tell you, young in my business career and coaching people, I used to scream a lot. I used to raise my voice, and I used to get very emotional and fired up and made people feel really uncomfortable, kind of like a sports coach. And like my old college coach, I remember sometimes he would come up to me if I made a mistake on the field. He would literally be like 6 inches from my face, screaming at me about what I did wrong and whatever. And then he would yank me off the field, and he would go and put me on the bench in a practice. And I literally wouldn't see the field for 3 to 4 games because of a mistake I made in practice. And because at that level of sports, I played on a soccer team that was in the top 20 in the country pretty much year in and year out. So the guy in the bench was an All-American too out of high school. And the guy in the bench was all-state. He set records too. He won state titles too. So the degrees of difference of talent on that team is very small. And so when I got into the coaching business and I got into the leadership business, I thought that's how you had to treat people. But what I had to realize was not everyone played at that level. Not everyone had the experience of sports like me. And so I literally would have conversations with people like that in business, and they would start crying in front of me. And when those certain things happen, I started to realize, like, oh my God, why am I treating people this way? I thought I was doing the right thing. I was subconsciously, I was coached a certain way. I saw things a certain way. And in my family, I was raised a certain way. And I thought that's how I had to come across to people. And so I realized I had to change those models. I had to change the way, the patterns. I had to change the way I looked at things. And so in the business today, as I coach people and they're going through stuff, I would tell you 1 out of 100, I raise my voice. And frankly, it only comes out to people, in my opinion, that played sports at a certain level, because I know that'll remind them of patterns of their past to stimulate some things in their mind, to regenerate their actions, to get them to want to go. And literally, I do it out of love. I do it out of helping people. But it's very interesting. And I'll tell you, there's some of the other patterns, and I'll tell you, and again, my mom didn't give me only negative patterns by all means. She gave me 95% amazing patterns, and love and loyalty and coming through. Like the idea of she would take her jacket off if she was freezing for you, and put it on your back if you were cold. She would do anything for you. And I have my friend Sanjay in the office, and we talk oftentimes about his mom and how much she reminds me of my mom. Like the dinner table thing, when I went over to his house, she literally, it was like Thanksgiving dinner when I came to visit his house. It was unreal. I haven't had a meal like that since like literally Thanksgiving. But that's how she shows her love to the world. It's amazing. Like through her cooking and through the time spent and everything else, that was my mom. She did exactly the same things. The only difference between my mom and Sanjay's mom is my mom's food wasn't as spicy, and it didn't hurt as much on the way out. You know what I mean? Like I guess that's what happens when you're in certain cultures, right? But love her for that. And I'll tell you, on my dad's side, he again taught me the loyalty. He worked for one company for 39 years before he retired. And I know every year wasn't a good year. I just know that, being in business. And he also taught me measure twice, cut once. So the idea of being intentional about what you want to accomplish and be thoughtful about what you want to do. I learned that. So, all right. So law of correspondence. So think about the patterns that you repeat every single day. Think about the patterns of things that may serve you. Keep doing those patterns. And then also, if you want to change the patterns, you want to get better things out of your life, better results, more happiness, better relationships, get around people, talk to people, and emulate people that have patterns and things that you want, a lifestyle, life, relationships, a business, whatever, financial success that you want, and start emulating those patterns. But just know that the longer it takes you to change those patterns, the longer it's going to take you to reach your dreams and whatever you want to accomplish. You know, I talked to Michael Sessions this morning, just briefly. We're talking about some things, and he made fun of me a little bit. He chirps at me because my Bluetooth wasn't connecting in the car, and he goes, "Yeah, that Hyundai, that doesn't work so well." And I'm like, "Sessions, no, not anymore." He goes, "I know, I'm kidding. I know you got the Range Rover. I know, I'm just messing with you." I was like, "Sessions, you know what I really want?" I was like, "An Audi R8. That's what I really want. Like the Iron Man car. Like that thing is badass. Like that's what I really want." He goes, "You know what? I was looking at Ferraris the other day." He goes, "You know what I really want?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." He's like, "Can we just kind of get that game on and get it going?" And he's like, "Yeah, let's get business rocking. Let's get it going." I was like, "Okay, sounds good." All right, then last but not least, the law of inspired action. The law of inspired action. The law of inspired action is what it actually says. Inspired action. It's when you take action, you start moving towards what you want. You start changing the vibrations in your world. You start changing the emotions, the energy you're putting out. And so the vibrations, the energy, the law of attraction, all the things you're putting in the world, all the things you're putting into work, all the things you're putting into relationships, you're going to start getting back better vibrations. You're going to start getting back better energy. And so, the action you start to take is going to start moving you towards what you want. And so I know a lot of you recently have done things like vision boards. Have started putting things in your life, started putting things on your walls, started putting things in your car, start putting things on your phones, pictures, for the tablets that we use every day. I noticed some people's tablets have pictures of the cars they want, of the house they want, of the beach, the happy place, wherever that is. It's like Happy Gilmore, his happy place. A little bit different than other people's happy places. But when you start taking action and you have inspired action, you have great energy around it, you feel good inside, you're going to start moving towards what you want. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I do daily, and again, I'm not trying to get you guys to do this, I just know how much it changed my life when I just committed to eating the frog every day. You guys know what that means, eating the frog? The frog is the thing that you wake up in the morning and it's the thing that you're like, not again. I just don't want to do it. It could be, I don't know, getting a coffee. Maybe that's the frog. I don't know. But for most people, and for me, it's getting out of bed and not sleeping in. I love the feeling of just laying around and hanging out with my boys. They climb in my bed in the morning. Brady kind of cuddles with me on my left shoulder. He goes, armpit. And then that's all he says is armpit. Climbs into the covers, puts his head on my armpit. And then next thing you know, Mason walks in at some point into our bedroom and he says, "Mommy, can I lay with you?" And he climbs in and gets armpit on her side. And it's like, there's nothing that makes me happier than to do that. And then if I could do that all day and make millions, shit, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. But you can't. And the idea of pushing the snooze button, the idea of maybe getting into the gym, the idea of, forcing, some strain on your body by lifting some weights. Maybe it's taking a run. Maybe it's drinking that healthy drink. Maybe it's, I don't know, making your lunch. I don't know. There's something. There's a frog. Everyone has a frog every morning. But trust me when I tell you, when you eat the frog and you have inspired action, it's going to help your day be the way you want it to be. And it could be making more contacts in what you're doing. It could be making more phone calls. It could be whatever the frog is in your day. Eat the frog. The earlier you eat the frog in the day, the faster you're going to have a great day. But inspired action, when you take inspired action, it's going to come back to you. So guys, I just wanted to share with you the law of the cause and effect. Whatever you put in the universe, you're going to get back. The law of gender. Be patient. Be patient. I remember mom used to tell me that patience is a virtue, honey. Patience is a virtue. And I'm like, I would get so mad. The law of correspondence. Start thinking about the patterns, your daily patterns, things that make you who you are. Think about if they serve you, if they're holding you back. Start thinking about how to change those so they serve you and help you grow and help you achieve. And then the law of inspired action is obviously the action you're taking is truly moving you towards what you want and what you want to accomplish. So happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping on today. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the love and all the good things we're doing, as friends and in business. I'll tell you, there's a ripple effect that happens in the world. And there's a lot of people that are going around and, listen, there's a lot of news going on about different things. And again, I'm just a firm believer that the world is a healthier place than some people may make you imagine and make you feel. But put good in the world and you're going to get it back. So happy Friday, everybody. Appreciate you.